Hey guys, Alan Kirby here for a segment called Third Shift Horror Stories. Hey guys, Alan Kirby here. I want to welcome you to the first installment of Third Shift Horror Stories. It's just me explaining things that have happened to me on third shift in intricate detail. Now, number one, I know I touched on this before, but I wanted to go over it again. I covered it in another video, but it is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me since I've been there, and that, of course, is the robbery. Now, this is by far the weirdest thing that happened to me, and of course, I'll repeat myself, that I touched on this before. It was 10:30 at night. I had just gotten to work, and this guy, he's pacing back and forth outside, and I make eye contact with him at first, and didn't think anything of it, because crackheads will pace in and out all night, asking people for money, for cigarettes, until I chase them off. And so I locked eyes, but I just kept doing what I was doing. So then he comes in the store and he's pacing back and forth. So I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So some of the customers brought it to my attention that he was pacing back and forth. So we still had a couple customers left in the store, but he basically waited for them to all leave out of the store. So he comes up to the counter. He has this weird look on his face, and he goes, "Give me all the money in the register." So customers say it all the time, just joking around. So I assumed he was joking, but he wasn't joking. So at first I laughed. I was like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." So then he runs across the counter, like behind it, not across. He runs behind it. So I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go." So again, he keeps repeating himself, and I'm arguing with him at first because I really didn't want to open the drawer. So I noticed something in his pants under his shirt. I don't know what it was, but it kind of looked like a barrel at first, but I wasn't exactly sure. So finally, I popped the drawer open, and he goes, "Lift the drawer out for me." I said, "No, take what you're going to get. You already robbed me. I'm already pissed. I'm not going to help you carry the money out too." So he goes, he grabs a little bit of the money. I block with my hand the bigger bills. So then I start shutting his hand in the drawer. So he gets mad and he runs out. And at that point, the customers, some of them apprehended him and started wailing on him. Like, he was so bloody and swollen, and he ripped his shirt to get away. So I chase him up the parking lot. I turn around and I see my boy Mikey that works there. Just like, oh shit, what do I do now? So I had to run back to the store, close it down, get all these statements. It was just by far the craziest night that ever happened to me there. Watched it back on camera. I was doing things I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just at fight or flight at that point. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail because watch my past video if you want to get more detail on this. But yeah, the robbery was by far, I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way, the weirdest time that happened to me. But I just want to get out of the way because I've already explained it before. Really didn't feel like explaining it again. This next story happened on bar night there. It was a Friday night, and these two girls came in the store by themselves. So this guy with a broken arm, this black guy with a broken arm, comes up to him and he goes, "Hey, I'd like to get in that," or something along the lines of that. Pretty much talking dirty to him. So I'm like, oh, here we go. So I was like, you probably shouldn't talk to those girls like that. And he's like, "Whatever, man, fuck it." So I'm like, okay. So the one girl runs out to the car while the other girl stays inside. And two big black dudes come in. They run in there. So they start yelling at him and they start threatening him, and So they start trying to rob him in the store, and I'm like, come on, man, you guys got to take that shit somewhere else. So they all go outside. Well, the one guy starts punching the guy in the face as they took his wallet, and they were trying to take his shoes. So the guy gets in, he was in his car when they were trying to rob him, so he hurries up, he slams the door, he squeals off. So he gets out of the parking lot, the other guys are sitting there with their arms up. Well, he rolls back in the parking lot, and he hits the one guy with his car, and he squeals out. And I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Like, at first I couldn't believe what I saw. You know, the fact that he had hit a guy with his car. Like, so my eyes were kind of like, did I just see what I think I saw? So I'm in shock. So then the guy squeals out, comes back, and hits the other guy that's checking on the other guy. Well, the first guy flies over the windshield. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. That's how crazy it was. And the fact that he hit two guys with his car and then squealed out. So they run in, they're like, call the ambulance, call the police. I'm just standing there in shock, so I'm like, okay. So we called the cops, they showed up, they got all the statements, they're all outside freaking out. So I ended up having to go to court for it. So I got up all early, went to the court, couldn't find which courtroom it was. So I was freaking out. And come to find out, there was a plea bargain. But the one guy that got hit, the first guy, he got in trouble for the whole thing. Because he robbed the guy. So they didn't even care the fact that the guy hit him. They said self-defense because the guy had a broken arm, even though he was being the pervert and talking that way to two young ladies. So, I mean, he kind of got what was coming to him. You reap what you sow. So yeah, that was another crazy night that I had at work. Two guys getting hit by a car. It's one of the craziest things by far that I've seen there. Alright, this next story is really creepy. One night I was mopping the bathroom, and an Asian guy opens the door. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I'll get out of here so you can use the bathroom. And he keeps muttering something under his breath. I'm like, what is this guy saying? And he says it again, and he says it again, and he keeps just muttering under his breath. So I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, dude. So he said it louder. He came closer and he said it louder. He said, why don't you come in here with me? And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, just get out of my face, like, seriously. So then he goes to the bathroom, and I'm grabbing the mop and getting the mop water and stuff ready at this point, and he comes up to me again, and this time his pants are unbuttoned and he's rubbing his crotch. And he goes, are you sure you don't want to come in there with me? At this point, I was like, you know what, dude, get the fuck out of my face. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm about to punch you in the mouth. So I go and I talk to the assistant manager was there at this time because it was the morning. So I went and I talked to her. I said, look, this dude's trying to sexually assault me or whatever. I was like, I'm about to knock him the fuck out. She goes, no, don't hit him. Don't hit him. We'll handle the situation. So they called the cops. Cops came. He left. He was already gone. Well, I'd say about 15 minutes after the cops left, he comes back in and he goes, you mind if I chill here for a little while? So I found a ride. I said, dude, you just basically attempted a sexual assault on me in the bathroom. No, you can't hang the fuck out here. You better get out of here before I get the fuck off and punch you in the mouth. So then he just leaves. So that was just weird that I was almost sexually assaulted by an Asian guy. Like, what in the fuck? Unfortunately, this next part covers the male anatomy as well. There's this guy that comes in every so often. One time I was counting money in my register and I heard somebody talk to me and I looked up and his dick is hanging out of his pants. And I'm like, what in the hell, man? He was like, oh, I was just trying to use your bathroom. He was all drunk. I'm like, dude, your fucking dick is hanging out of your pants. He was like, oh, I'm sorry about that. So then he comes in another night, same thing. His dick is hanging out of his pants. I'm like, dude, you have to stop coming in here with your dick out of your pants. So I talked to Kyle and Mikey about him, and they're like, the same thing happened to us. I was counting cigarettes. Kyle said he looked up, And once again, the guy's dick's hanging out. So Kyle calls the cops on him. Of course, he was gone by the time the cops get there because they take forever. But he's come in one other time since I found out that Kyle and Mike called the cops on him. He came about 2 weeks ago. And this time I'm outside, and he walks up to me, and once again, his dick is hanging out. And I'm like, how many times do I have to tell you not to come in here with your dick hanging out? He goes, oh, my bad, I'm just fucked up, man. I had a bad night. I didn't even notice my dick was out. But I was like, your dick is out every single fucking time you come here. Your dick is hanging out. So he still comes in every once in a while, and his dick is always hanging out. I'm just waiting to call the cops to where he's going to stay there for a long period of time. So when he comes out of the bathroom with his dick out, the cops can handle the situation. Because I'm so tired of seeing this guy's dick, as you can imagine. Alright guys, well this is the last story that I'm going to tell tonight. And this involves a fight between two girls. Once again, it was bar night. I believe this one was a Friday night as well. These two girls come in and they start arguing from the bar. So they start pulling each other's hair and hitting on each other. So I'm like, oh my god, you guys gotta get the fuck out of here. Well, then they trickle over to the candy wall where all the candy is. And they start knocking all the candy off the wall. So I'm like, oh my fucking god. So the one girl pulls a knife on the other girl. And the other girl goes in her purse and pulls out a pair of scissors. So they're trying to stab each other. So I run and I jump in the middle because they're knocking everything off the shelves and I'm the one that's got to pick it up. So I kind of jump in the middle of them like, chill, chill, chill. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Relax. It's not that serious to where you have to stab each other. And they're like, well, did you call the cops? I'm like, yeah, I called the cops. They're on the way. So they start fucking getting out of there. And one of their friends comes back in, a black dude, and he was like, did you really call the cops? I'm like, yeah, I called the fucking cops. I want them the fuck out of here. One's got a knife, one has a pair of scissors. Why are they fighting in my store? This isn't a gang fight area. So, yeah, they were just fighting with a knife and a pair of scissors. It's a movie script could not script this any better than it actually went. It was just crazy that these two were fighting with a knife and a pair of scissors. I could have got stabbed. One of them could have got stabbed. Well guys, there will be another installment of this, but for now, this has been Third Shift Horror Stories. I never get tired of the weird. Actually, I do.